What is up YouTube, it is Matty and welcome to a war recap. It is the TH10 TH11 version, so I'm going to be looking at a couple of raids and it is the war versus Madtown. So first things first, these guys are dicks. It goes without saying. They are the reason that we had to change our name from Playin Wit COC, which is what it was, to PwC, which is obviously just an acronym abbreviation for Playin Wit COC. And yeah, they did it for no apparent reason, and they also got Tickle My Pickle banned and had a forced name change, and then they've got PwC banned. I mean, it just goes on. There was a lot of banter between the, when I say banter I mean just abuse on their on their clan messages and stuff, and it was just, I don't know, uncalled for really. But it is what it is. So we smashed them. I think it was because they, I don't know what it is, and I'm not normally one for whinging or that sort of thing when that sort of thing comes under. But to go to the extent of making a clan's name change is just pretty harsh. Anyway, let's have a look at some TH10 and TH11 action now that we've got that that little bit over. We're going to be checking out first attack on number 21, which is possibly, I think it's the lowest TH10 out there. In this lineup, and clearly it has level 1 Infernos and Town Hall 9 level defense, so it's pretty much 9.5. And yeah, I mean, you don't need to do anything too crazy when it's this sort of base, and it doesn't. It's just sort of basically a mass Valk, a couple of golems to funnel, and a couple of back end loons as well. Guiding the troops in quite simply, double jump there. Poison spell to deal with the CC en route. Nothing too crazy in the CC that's going to do much damage. Rage spell is well placed. It's going to help him push through to the second Inferno Tower. And to be honest, the level 1 Inferno Towers don't do that much damage. The biggest thing that they do is cause your Valkyries to not heal. And therefore take damage from the surrounding defences. But from this base, a lot of the point defence was on the outer layer. So it wouldn't have caused that much damage to the Valks on the middle. So the you don't necessarily need free spells when it comes to TH10. In fact, I'd say more often than not you can get away with rage and heal spells. Just placing them right to get the most value is what the key is. So nice standard simple attack by Nico here. Great hit. Let's have a look at the next one, number 20. Yeah, with Stonebanks. Okay, so I think there's two golems, but what you're going to see here is quite a lot of hog riders and quite a lot of Valkyries. No walk necessary. Based on the defense positioning, it would be too, there wouldn't be much value in doing an actual queen walk. But if you look at the defense positions, there are little ways you can get good value out of the hog riders. With the golem down, the king and the queen are making their way in. And what I think actually happens is if he gets a golem, I can't explain why the second golem is placed so lately, because it just doesn't seem to do much of anything for the attack. But with the Valks going in, everything pretty standard here with the golem funnel, the Valks guarding in, rage spells to push them through. That freeze on the first Inferno was quite surprising actually. Wouldn't have expected that normally. But here, look, again, the golem is still not been used. What is its purpose? He ends up using it, throwing it on the towards that arch tower. Didn't even target the hog rider. Sorry, the cannon didn't even target it. So it is tanking a couple of defences, but I think a giant would have been more appropriate, to be honest, because it just seemed out of place, to say the least. Anyway, the queen walk's gone. Well, the queen charge gone so well, as you know, healerless, that she's just taking defense after defense down, and that's working really nicely. So the ability here helping take down the Tesla, just huge value from those Valkyries, and great placement with the hog riders to get the 3-star on this one. So hog riders and or loons, it really does depend on the base layout. Typically when you got the wider, I think hog riders seem to be best when a lot of the defences are next to each other. particularly when there's not much space for spring traps, but more importantly when there's not too much space for giant bombs, because typically with the Town Hall 10 raids and Town Hall 11 raids, the spells are quite tight. So you don't normally have a huge, a huge amount of heal spells to throw at your hog riders. And most of the time, I don't think I've ever actually ended up using heal on hogs at Town Hall 10. It's mainly sort of focused on keeping the Valks safe and alive. Next, we're about to see something pretty crazy. So, Confusion rocking an amazing 3-star here. So it's going to start with a minor queen charge. 2 air defenses are going to go down to that, and then, well, just watch. This is pretty sick, to be fair. Massively impressive. So queen walk happening so far, looking pretty good. She's going in. She's going to get the first air defense, no problem whatsoever. She's going to, in fact, start walking towards the queen. She'll end up having to take that down, and then the next wall breakers are really crucial because they will allow his queen into the next compartment to get the second air defense. So with 2 air defenses gone, queen gone as well, could potentially be dealing with the CC here. Rage spell down, used well. No worries on taking down the queen there, it was quite smooth. The worry is that his queen's going to pull up all the way to that gold storage and get hit by the Inferno, but she ends up keeping nice and close, and you can see here that the wall breakers allow her into the next compartment. She is getting hit by double expo, so she will be taking damage. Golem and King down on that 3rd air defense, so 3 out of 3 taken care of now. Final one, and he's got a hound to deal with it. But watch this. Loon placement, trying to push them in towards the air defense, and they're going to target it quite quickly. Lots of loons still left now, and they're going to all sort of start pathing into that core. And this is the simplicity of the base, because they're all going to go into that core. He's got the free spell to help essentially shut up the Inferno, and a couple of Teslas while he's at it, and then got the second freeze spell there just to try and push those loons through. Unfortunately, because there were 2 groups, the one group did fully die. By the time that freeze is done, the loons are already there because of the rage spell, and pretty much all the point defense, splash damage is gone, particularly now with that wizard tower dying. So it's just that sort of arch tower is the final threat. He did bring some minions with him to make sure he had enough cleanup, because that was always going to be the worry, particularly with the way loons like to clump together. But it was just an overall awesome attack. Pretty shocking base layout. Opened up to just basically getting looned, a single hound there to tank that final air defense, and just a really nice attack. Next one we're going to look at is number 13. I have used raids 17, 15 and 11 in a separate video, so keep your eye out for that, unless I've already uploaded it. But 13 is the next one we're going to show, and it is a dip by Rob Stark. Dips are quite common from 11 to 10. I do like to show them because it does, it's not always straightforward, particularly on max bases, and especially on max bases with max walls as well. Albeit that the heroes are 36, but it's still pretty impressive that he's able to get the 36, if they get all the lava, I don't know what the walls are called actually, the max level walls done before he's even got his heroes up, because I'm not even halfway and I've got my queen 40 and my king 34. I'm just seem to be quite quick at getting dark elixir and obviously gemming off the hero levels anyway. But so far, Queen Walk seems to be quite a lot of damage DPS on the outer layer, so getting good value from the Queen Walk, taking care of the CC as well, so minimising risk. That's what I like when I do my Queen Walks too. If you can deal with the Clan Castle, get quite a few point defences down, add all that value, it's just going to make the rest of the raid that bit easier. Nice that she got that extra arch tower there, and look at this, because he's guiding the Valks straight in and there's minimal risk there, he's just pushing them through the base. Rage, good use of the rage as well, and those 2 Infernos go down at a phenomenal speed. Few back end hogs here straight onto that arch tower towards 9 o'clock. And yeah, I mean the raid is looking really strong. Good use of Hog Riders, good use of Valkyries to push through the base. Problem is, he has got quite a bit of point defense left, and though that queen is going to die, she is getting hit by that Expo, and the healers are slowly dying, so she's got her, oh yeah, she's dead. Hogs do come through. That spring trap wrecked the hogs in the end, and it was just down to that Tesla. But luckily, the amount of wizards that he had left, the king ended up tanking for just long enough to let the wizards come through and finish it off for the 100%. So very, very close. Got a bit unlucky with spring traps with those hogs there, but was able to push through and survive to the end of the raid. Next one I'm going to show is number 10, which is an attack by me. I did not record it live. It's a shame. I wish I had. I definitely instantly regret it. And I'll talk to you about the base. It's a really poor base design. Looks like a trophy base, doesn't it, from that you'd expect to see in matchmaking. But the thing is about it, it's and when you've got the time to actually plan these sorts of attacks, you can put some things in place. So I actually had to end up taking 8 loons, and you can see where the air defences are towards the left and the right, which meant the south and the north, those arch towers on the north and those cannons on the south were exposed. So I thought 2 loons on each, take them down. And I wanted to start my walk from the bottom. There's quite a lot of point defense down there, and I figured whichever way she walked, left or right, I can just earthquake in. It'll create a nice good funnel for me, and I should be able to get into the base and take down those infernos quite quickly. I genuinely hadn't planned which way she was going to walk, but I felt that whichever way, it didn't really matter, because I'll just earthquake that side, try and earthquake part of the inferno tower on the side I go in, whichever side that ends up being. And take it from there. Because the clan castle is quite easily exposed, when I dropped the loons, I also dropped a hog on the to get the CC pull fully, and then let the queen deal with that. And it was all going to come down to, because there's quite a lot of point defense at the bottom, I knew I'd be using rage spells for it. So let's have a look at the attack, and that was essentially the end of my planning. The loons at the start, and I knew just to mass Valk the base and I should be okay. The queen walk was going to get me some value. Just be on the defense positions. Now what happened here, you see 1 arch tower survived. I got the CC pull fully, 2 loons on each of those arch cannons again. The one on the right succeeded, the one on the left did not, so once again a fail there. Queen walk started, and now it's just a case of watching and seeing where she goes and using the rage spells and the ability at the right points. I was going to use the ability to take down the dragon, and you'll see here the rage spell down first. She looks like she's going to die, so I drop the ability, get the dark storage down first, then those loons, and now she's going to start taking down that point defense. One arch tower, 2 arch towers, and the cannon, and now the point defense is severely limited. And you can see here it looks like she's going to push left. She ends up getting that mortar, changing her mind and pushing it all the way back right, getting another wizard tower. So that's like, what's that, 5 defenses down so far with just the queen. She's going to go through. She should get that cannon as well. Another rage spell here just to try and keep her alive. She did look a bit ropey for a moment, but she's regained her stature and regained her health, and now she's pushing through, getting that air defense. That's going to help me out. Getting the warden, that helps me out as well. And now it's sort of obviously becoming set which side I'm going to attack from. All I need to do now is find an entry point for my giants to help me create a funnel. Sorry, all I need to do now is create that entry point and break in. And you can see here, because she's creating that funnel, all I need to do is send the king down, those Valkyries in, earthquake open the side I wanted them to go, and I've got a rage heal for the core. So this is where the raid really kicks off, and watch what happens now. With the king walking out, all the Valks going in, rage that core up, heal it up nicely as well. Watch how good the Valkyries are when they get in there, and before we know it, both of those Infernos are gone, and they're just running around the base. And this is why it's such a crazy powerful strategy. The queen is just still getting unbelievably, and I've just got a lot of Valks left, so at this point you know it's done. I think I had quite a good amount of time left on the timer as well. It was just a massacre, so really gutted I didn't do it live, because nothing much else could have gone, nothing would have really gone wrong on that raid. The queen walk was so high value that it just didn't leave much, and being able to guide the Valks into the court is huge. So we're going to show some Town 11 attacks now. Let's have a little look. So Dave VT, starting off with a walk, and he's got 17 Valks. I think it's the same number I had, and yeah, wants to try and find a way to eliminate the Eagle Artillery quite quickly. The Queen Walk at the moment, I was going to say he had the threat of the air defense, but he's broken that first layer to eliminate that threat. Is he going to get the CC pull as part of the walk? We're going to find out soon. Just sort of wait and see what happens. When you've got 2-point defense on the Queen, she will start to lose health. When you've got 3 on her, she's in trouble. When you've got 4, you better just hope that she's taking them down quick, even under rage spell, because she will start to struggle. Hog Rider down now to get that CC pulled. 3 loons and a drag. Pretty standard CC, and the Queen's pretty good at taking it down, particularly when they're under a poison. Watch this. Might not even need to use the ability. We're going to find out soon. It's gone, loon's gone, and he wouldn't have needed the ability there. Just had to. He just popped it. Maybe a little bit of panic. Anyway, a bit of funneling happening right now. A couple of wizards down. Now we've got the Warden and the King, and the Warden's going to be for the Valkyries. And watch this, the Queen is actually moving in onto that Eagle Artillery, so if he'd have been a little bit more patient, he'd have stopped any of that damage happening to those Valkyries. And in fact, that might have ended up being the 3-star for this attack. Raging the Valks through the core like that is absolutely awesome. They're doing great at the moment. Unfortunately, getting into that final Inferno Tower is causing it was doing quite a significant damage over time. I really do wonder if he'd have got that, allowed the Queen Walk to happen that little bit longer, got the Eagle Artillery down, and just held back a bit of the damage that the Valks took from it. Would it have resulted in the 3-star because of more Valkyries surviving, and therefore those defences going down? Never know. I genuinely don't know. Maybe you guys can let me know your thoughts on that, if you think it would have resulted in the 3. But on this attack, unfortunately Dave was not able to get it, although he got all the defences down, just a couple of buildings left and 97%. Final raid we're going to show is number 4. Let's have a check, and it is by Fam, Town Hall 10 on Town Hall 11. Let's have a little look. Ooh, I think I've left my bad bases up and the war's just started. Anyway, Queen walking from 9, and it looks like she's going down towards 6 o'clock. 21 Valkyries, so pretty hefty. There's no chance he's going to get the Eagle Artillery, so it's just going to be a spam and hope, I think, when it comes to the Valk drop. Is he going to deal with the CC? I hope so, but I don't think he will either. Just creating a nice okay. I would have sent a Hog in to deal with the Clan Castle, because I think it would have made the Valk drop that little bit safer. Anything I can do to make things as safe as possible, I will do. And at this point, if he pulled the CC and had the Queen just take it down, it would have just... it's not going to do any damage, let's put it that way. So with the Golem now there, going to probably carry on breaking him in and I'd say creating the funnel, but he's not. He's just allowing it to tank for those Valkyries, and here we go. Jump spell into the Town Hall. Here come the Wizards. Look, they've barely got a chance to do much, but this with the Rage, they are through quite quickly, and he's able to get that Town Hall done. Can he get to the Eagle Artillery quite quick? That's always going to be key. Hasn't got that. They had to path all the way back for that one single building. Then they've gone all the way back to the Inferno Tower. Then they've got sort of bypassing the Eagle Artillery. It's just taking so long before they actually get to the Eagle Artillery to take it down. It's just ended up doing all that damage, and yeah, there is a lot of Valkyries left right now, but there's also a lot of defences on them, including splash damage from the Wizard Tower. But the healers are doing a good job here, keeping those Valks alive. There are a couple of defences hitting those healers, so hopefully they can survive for that little bit longer. Queen just gets a little bit unlucky here, and she ends up dying. She'd have taken down a couple more defences, he might have been able to get away with the 3-star, but you can see with the Valks just going on that massive route off course, mixed with the max level wars, it's just made it that little bit more difficult for them, and he's ended up running out of time. If the Queen would have done that a little bit better, might have been okay. But hope you've enjoyed this war recap anyway, guys, and yeah, on to the next one, which will be the Town Hall 9 content. Screw you, Madtown, bunch of arseholes. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Catch you on the next one. Peace.